Hi, it's Dan here from Flexible, and today's video is on how to do cold outreach automation to land database reactivation clients using AI. So I'm about to be joined with one of my students, Cedric, and he has landed some of the biggest clients I've ever seen cold from his desk in the south of France in Antibes. He's a French guy, and some of the stuff he's been doing has been blowing me away. My inbox inside school has just been pinging with all these huge companies he's landing, and he doesn't know them for a bar of soap, right? This is really impressive stuff. You should watch it, especially if you're someone that has a really good offer, but doesn't quite know how to get in front of the big clients at scale. So that's what today's video is about. Enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. This presentation we're doing today, it's about the Napoleon outreach method, and I'll explain more about how I came up with this name just this morning at about 4:45 a.m. and what that looked like. But for now, we're calling it the Napoleon outreach method, and it's a revolutionary system to help small agencies land whale clients with email and AI. You guys should know me by now. I have a lead gen agency in the UK, and we have a lead gen community and training program over at Flexible. We have school groups and Facebook groups and all that stuff. If you're watching the replay of this, you'll see that below this video. So for me, I'm a big sporting person. I used to play basketball at a decent level. And, you know, I tried to get up and down the court as fast as I could. And I was quite competitive. And I guess it's the same thing with me in business. And I like to move pretty fast with what I do. And I am, you know, a pretty good implementer. And if that's not you, that's fine. But just bear in mind that everyone sits on the bench at some point in their career. Things are moving so fast with what we're doing at the moment that we want to make sure that we stay humble and listen to what people are doing like Cedric, because it's really good stuff. All right. So a quick question. Some of you might be new, some of you might not be new. Can you type in the chat box if you let me know what our offer is to clients here at Flex HQ? What Cedric's doing, what people in my community are doing. Type into the chat box and let me know what you think our offer is to clients and what you guys are potentially doing at the moment. DBR, database reactivation. Sleeping Beauty AI, database reactivation with Chatbot DBR, lead reactivation, dead revenue from DBR. Right, so you guys are bang on it. I thought I might have DBR and performance basis. You're busy, let us handle working your leads for you on our time and dime. Money for nothing. This is good stuff. All right, so let me just explain things in a simple way so you guys understand what our offer is. And when you understand what our offer is, you can understand why our outreach methods work so well, okay? So we ask clients if they have any old leads. If they have, we ask them if they want us to turn them into sales using AI and ChatGPT. And if they say yes, we propose an up to 50% profit share on any sale we make from those old leads. And what do you think we say to these clients if they go, no way, dude, that's just too much. There's just no way I'm going to pay that. Any thoughts, any kind of comments on what we think we say to clients that say that? This is a trickier question, right? There we go. James has got it. Oh, a few people have got it. You must have heard me before. Would you prefer 100% of nothing or 50% of 100K? All right. As soon as they hear that, then they usually say, okay, then they really can't go anywhere. It's just a no-brainer offer, and they'd be stupid to say no. So we kind of got them cornered at that point, and then they say, how does it work, and can we see a demo? So we set up a Zoom call, and here at Flex HQ and in my community, we call that a coffee date, okay? And we prepare for the coffee date by copying and pasting a prompt template into the OpenAI playground. Because when we demo to our clients, we don't want to go and build some complex bot or whatever, right? So we copy and paste that template into OpenAI playground. We use a special tool to hide all of the OpenAI stuff. And it looks like it's our own kind of demo to the client, because they don't know what it looks like inside OpenAI, right? Works really well. It means we can demo and land clients without having to build anything. Then we do the coffee date once it's all working, and we close the client, okay? What do you think roughly the close rate is from what we've experienced inside our own agency and probably what Cedric has experienced. What do you think the close rate is? Any kind of thoughts? 50%, 80%, 60%, 98%, 98. Well, I don't know about you, Cedric, but I've never not closed a client. It's the honest truth. The only person I didn't bring on was a client that didn't have enough kind of leads coming in, and they didn't have a big enough database, so I had to say no to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes they don't have enough leads, or the
Yeah,
leads are too old, or you sense that they purchased lists of leads, so you
yeah.
don't work
You
with
don't
them.
bring them on, right? So why would any, like, the demo? I swear to you, impresses the shit out of these clients, right? Their jaw is almost on the floor when they understand when the penny drops. All right. So it's not. It's. I've never had a client that doesn't want to go ahead. That's how hot this offer is right now. Okay. It's the best offer I've ever seen, because clients would be stupid to say no, which is why it is perfect for cold outreach. Okay. Absolutely perfect. Let me show you. So these all came in. What I'm putting here on this page happened within the last 2 weeks. Some of them even earlier, right? So this guy's called Rob Brown. I've blurred out his surname, but he actually used to work for me, and then he left and he started his own thing. He went to another kind of lead gen agency, and he basically worked for them for a few years. And he saw my stuff and he bought it. The last 2 weeks have been crazy, so crazy I had to hand my notice in for the 9 to 5. I've had too many prospects and wanting to get started. He's 3 signed agreements, the biggest deal I've ever signed in my career. Just 3 more. They've told me they want to go ahead, and 4 more demos booked in to show the bot. Their home improvements, lead gen, estate planning, debt help, insurance, telecoms, and even a global tourism loyalty provider with millions of members. All right. So this guy, he actually called me because I know him, and he was in tears because he left his job. The client, his employer brought him on as an AI consultant, and now I think he's up to around 20K per week, per month from this client. Okay, that's how quickly this works. All right. Anne Marie, she came into the program yesterday. Excuse my French, but the fucking light bulb is gone when you use the prompt demo in the playground. Like, I learned from the training. She wanted to go and do a Loom and send it out to all the clients, and I said, don't do that. Okay, do the demo with the client so you can see their eyes and see their how impressed they are. Okay, I didn't realize how powerful this was. Another one had to go ahead on a PPC claims company with 1 million records, 1 million old records and phone numbers that the Sleeping Beauty Android is going to reactivate. Okay, this guy here, Cataray, 1-man band, maybe a couple of man band. He landed the US government as a client. Okay, we've got incredible stuff going on here. It's the first time I've seen, an offer like this pop so much. Okay. Rebecca, she messaged me, this was 2 days ago. She said she's going to a life insurance conference. Okay. What we did is we got her to create a little postcard, and we gave her a phone number for the prospects to SMS. And I've got a load of dudes ready to hand me their list before the test. They've even seen the test. The event hasn't even happened yet. It starts in a few hours. This was just from the lobby talk. All right. It's just the easiest thing in the world to sell. And then I saw this one. This is from about a month ago now. And Cedric's on the call with me now, right? They have 25,000 employees. The branch I'm dealing with are handling approximately 8,000 to 12,000 lead per month. I'm charging a flat fee for the setup and €2 for each conversation. They cover all costs. All right. The actual CEO of this business, I don't know how he got his hands on the demo that Cedric put together, but Cedric knew the guy because he's kind of famous, and he saw him going through the bot and going back and forth and engaging with our sales Android, the Sleeping Beauty Android. Okay, so this stuff is going all the way from the bottom all the way to the top, because every large business, every medium-sized business, and every small business knows they need AI. So this is a huge offer right now. Okay. So Cedric kept messaging me. He's a 1-man band, whale after whale after whale. And then he closed a multi-billion euro business from his methods. Okay. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is just nuts. And here we are today. So I woke up at listen, I'm pretty tired actually today because I woke up at 4:45 a.m. with this just like lightning bulb moment, right? I was like, oh my God, this is Cedric's French. This is about Napoleon. I was like putting two together in my kind of sleep, and I'm like, my God, this is the small guy like us. We're all small business owners, but now we have the chance to kind of jump on. I think I don't know much about history, but I think Napoleon had something to do with the revolution, right?
Yeah.
And we're entering a AI revolution now, and he conquered countries. You know, that was his thing, right? We've now got a chance to conquer some really big clients here because what we've got and the offer we've got is so very special. Does that make sense, everyone? Is everyone kind of excited about where we're at? I hope you can see how cool this is. Okay, so here we are, really. And I guess, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Cedric, for joining us and sharing this, right?
You're
This is
welcome.
cool, isn't it's so cool what we're doing here. And to be honest with you, you came and presented to my paid community last week, and they were like, the jaws were hitting the floor. And I said, I have to put this out to my free community. And I guess here we are. So just tell us tiny bit about your background and how you got to where you are and what you're up to now.
Yeah, my background is not the classic marketing background. Used to be a chef working in Michelin star restaurants,
Yep.
in famous restaurants like Le Manoir aux Quatre Saisons, with Raymond Blancs and stuff. I
Nice.
founded one of the first private chef company in France in 2006. Then
Yep.
I've created a cookery school. Then I sold online courses when they didn't even exist. That was back in 2012. Sold 700,000 euros of them. Then I
Nice.
created a startup, closed the round of funding the day before, just the day before lockdown, COVID lockdown. And that
Wow.
was a startup dedicated to selling a compliance solution for food safety for restaurants, food
Yeah.
safety and traceability. So that was complicated to sell. Reached out to some marketing gurus in the US, and that's how I've fallen into marketing. Now that's what
Yep.
I do full time. I love
Yep.
it.
So do I, man. I love it. And how long do you get started with my Roya program? For those of you who don't know, I have a program called Roya, which is rent out your Android. So you build an Android for your niche or whatever, and then you just duplicate it over and over again for all the different clients in your niche, or you can just go after lots of different niches. It doesn't really matter. So tell me, how did you find it and what's happened since you came in?
So I've begun, I think that was around the 10th of December.
Yep.
Since then, I've had like 35 coffee dates with major brands or industry leaders. Signed a lot of deals as well.
Yep.
So there is a lot going on at the moment.
I don't know how you do it, man. How are you delivering on all this stuff?
It's not, to be honest, the technical side of things is not the most complicated part.
Mm. Mm.
That's not, it's not the hardest. The hardest is to get them from the actual demo to signed to actually get them moving.
Yeah, yeah, we're finding that as well, right? So the bigger companies, there's quite a lot of red tape.
Yes.
So yeah, we're actually flying up on Wednesday to a really big company to actually see them and put names to a face so they can kind of like push them a little bit. But it is a problem with the bigger clients, but it's kind of worth the wait. Tell us a bit about the client that you've got, the where you've done seven kind of presentations for them.
Yeah, 7 presentation. I just had the call just before that as well. So
Yep,
this was about the contract, the actual signature. So this was a nice call.
nice.
They've sent me a 128 question security questionnaire.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
can imagine that this is quite complicated, but this is a life-changing deal. So
Yeah,
this, yeah.
amazing, man.
Um,
And once you're in, right? Like it's going to be hard for you
yeah,
to,
once you're in, you're in.
yeah,
And they see you as the AI expert. Once you create something that's
yeah,
working well for them, you become the AI expert. So never mind how big they are. Even if
Yeah.
one day they decide not to do the database reactivation, you'll
Yeah.
still be the AI guy, so you can sell them consulting
Yeah.
and a lot of different services.
Exactly. And the thing is, you are the AI expert because there's no other AI experts. Like it's new, right? So you are. That's not a lie. Like they don't teach this at university. You know what I mean? Like
No,
because it's so new. So exactly.
actually, interesting enough, in Cannes today we have the World AI Congress. And
Oh,
I've
really?
just been, yeah, I went yesterday and a bit
Oh, how
yesterday.
was it?
It was good, but a lot of corporate stuff and a lot of startups trying to close rounds of funding.
Oh man,
But in between, where we actually stand in making money for people, there was no one.
no one doing what we're doing. They're all trying to
No,
charge
no, there is not.
massive upfront contracts and retain huge retainers and all of that. We're just going to fly right under the radar and take all their business. I
Yeah.
love it. All right. So let's dive in. I'm going to get you to share yours. So I'm going to stop sharing mine and we can get into the good stuff, right? So for some of you, I'll just let you get started. Go for it.
Okay. Let me just share my screen.
So if people like the French accent, if you've got any questions and you don't understand, just ask us in the chat box and we'll get back to you, okay? Because we can't do much about the
No,
French
no.
accent.
I've been working on that for years, but I've not been able to fix it.
It's not
Do I
gone yet.
really want to? Maybe not.
All right, cool. Let's dive in.
So,
If you can make it
okay.
full screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, can you
Okay.
make it full screen by any chance?
Yes,
Yep.
that is full screen.
Okay, cool.
So here I'm going to show you the techniques that I'm using to actually land those big clients and to land coffee dates. So we'll first talk about what it takes to get those campaigns to work. It takes a lot of emails and a lot of iterations. Can you see the screen? Okay.
Yeah, I can. Can I just take a step back and let's have a look at like just quickly before you go on, right? So I think there's some lagging going on. Is everyone seeing lagging? All good? Are we all good? I don't know. It's not our end. I think something must be going on with Zoom. No, it's all fine. Okay. So before like we get into the details, you're landing your coffee dates, Cedric, because you've figured out a way to put our offer in front of whale clients and you do it at scale using cold outreach um, and and you do it by email, right? Like
Yes,
just give us an
that's all.
overview of what this looks like.
Yeah, that's all I do. I
That's
only
it.
do cold emailing. I don't do anything else. I don't do
Cold email.
social media. I don't do audience building. I don't do any of that.
Okay.
So basically, the just to yeah, bird's eye view of the process is that I talk to as many people as possible,
Yeah.
and based on what I hear from those people, I adjust the message for the rest of them, so that they see and they read what they are expecting to see and read, and that's
Yeah.
how they get to answer. Obviously, there is a whole infrastructure behind it, and
Yeah.
a whole lot of data scraping and customization and all that.
Which is what we're
But
going to show today, right? We're going to go through
yeah,
that today. Yeah. All
I'm
right.
I'm
Cool.
going to show that in detail. But what it really comes down to is to position the offer based on what they are expecting to see or hear.
Yeah. Yeah. So just
And
to give you guys,
obviously, yeah,
sorry, Cedric, just to give you guys listening a heads up, there is an offer, like an offer. It's a Google Doc, one of my infamous Google Docs at the end of this presentation to get the full training. So some of you will be able to take what's here. You'll be smart enough to run with it. Other people will need some kind of step-by-step stuff, which is why we've got an offer at the end of this webinar if you guys want to stick around to the end. All right, back to you, Cedric.
okay, thank you. So the AI here helps a lot to first analyze get as much data as possible, analyze the data, and then craft messages at scale. So everyone, not a single person, receives the same email.
Yep.
And so that's the reason why it works. So what it takes to get those campaigns working is really to send a lot of emails, and I structure my campaigns into three different layers. First, I start with cheap data that I scrape from using Scrapebox or N8N, and I will show you that in a second. Then I see what the response rate is like, what people have to say. Then I go into more premium prospects where I actually scrape Sales Navigator and customize the messages based on what I've heard before.
Yep.
And the reason why I know the messages are working is because I track the numbers, but I don't track micro numbers. I only track the macro numbers. So I check the number of clients of prospects that go into a campaign, and I check the number of calls I had off of them, and then the number of clients. I
Nice.
don't rely much on open rate or reply rate or click rate because that doesn't mean much. And especially now with the new anti-spam technologies, all this data is a bit biased. So it's
Yeah.
just how much do you put in, how much do you get out?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So to summarize quickly, you've got three different buckets, right? You've got your kind of test campaign, which is your lower quality scrape data, which is where you test all of your hand
Yes,
raisers. I call them hand raisers. And then once you've got your winning hand raisers, you move them into your second bucket, which is your middle quality. And then once that's working, then you move them into your best quality scrape data. Is that
yeah,
right?
that's correct.
Okay, cool.
That's correct. Because the market is wide, but if you send the wrong email to the right person, you might just burn the bridge forever.
Yeah, yeah,
And so you don't really want to do that. And also, by talking to a lot of people, it creates like a compounding effect. So the more performance you get with one campaign, the more you'll be performing with the others.
yeah. Okay, cool.
So this is just a broad overview of my statistics. So for 1,000 new contact, I get approximately 29 replies, 8 coffee dates, and 2 contracts signed.
Wow, wow, that's good.
Yeah, and this is scalable.
How many contacts have you sent so far total?
Not a lot. I've sent 5,600 premium contacts.
Wow,
So it's not
5,600. That's it.
Yeah, it's not an enormous volume. There is a lot of leeway there and a lot of um, ways to scale it.
Amazing. All right.
So I haven't even scraped the surface.
No, that's the thing. I think some people say, oh, this is going to get saturated, right? Like, uh, helping business with AI is going to get saturated. I'm like, there's more businesses starting every day than there is people trying to offer AI to businesses. You know, it's untapped. Okay, it's never going to be saturated. It just never is. Like, it's just too vast a market. So I wouldn't worry about that if that is one of your concerns.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna get saturated. But what can happen is people going after the same people with the same messages and the same kind of offer. This is
Yeah,
gonna be, but by the time we get there.
yeah,
So in order to run those campaigns, you need to have the tech infrastructure set up correctly. So basically, you don't want to build on a rented land. You want to be able to own pretty much everything that's under the hood. So the infrastructure is as such. I'll show you a checklist of things that you need to do in order to set it up. So I have a few servers. I have 4 servers, 5 servers. Then I have domain names that are attached to each server. Then I have several, so 2 or 3 mail addresses per server. And this is all leading to a master inbox. But before you get to that, there are a few pitfalls that you need to avoid. And this can you see the screen, or I need to make it bigger?
Yep, we can see that. It's all good.
Yeah, you can see the
Yep,
Google Doc.
yep,
Okay, so the setup comprises buying 30 to 40 domains similar to your main domain.
yep,
So you'll buy any extensions like XYZ, .tech,
yep.
.info, well, any you can find. Then you allocate um, between 10 to 15 domains to hosting plans. So I tend to choose hosting plans that are located, or hosting providers that are located in the country of the recipient that are going to receive the emails. I see that's making a difference. Uh, so in France, I use O2 switch. Otherwise, I use SiteGround.
Okay. So basically, you're building out, you're getting some different domains. So for flexible, to be flexible.com, .co.uk, .xyz, .ie, and then we'd attach a certain number of dan at flexible.io or whatever. So we'd
Yes,
have a ton of some domains built out, and then we'd have a ton of email addresses to not
yes,
burn, but give us a better chance of having stuff delivered, right?
correct.
Yep.
So only 2 to 3 addresses per domain.
Yep.
Otherwise, the domain will be blacklisted quickly.
Yep.
So I found that this is the sweet spot.
Yep.
So I use SMTP mailboxes for each domain. I don't use like Gmail or Workplace or Outlook or anything like that. I use SMTPs. Otherwise, just imagine if you have 90 email addresses and you pay $5 each, it comes at quite a cost. SMTP you
Yep.
don't pay, it has its limitations. But as this is set up, you won't reach those limitations ever. Then I create a 301 redirection. So from each new domain to the main domain, because people do check the end of your email address, and and if they land on 20404 or something that is not credible, they will not just reply.
They'll not reply. Yeah.
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 So then I create a CNAME, so that's for the link tracking. So this is hello dot the domain, and this is pointing towards the actual tracking domain for the within QuickMail. I use QuickMail. You can use QuickMail, Smart Leads, anything that you want. Just not Lemlist or any other system like that, where you have limitations in terms of the number of mailboxes you can use. You need to make sure you have the SPS, DKIM, and DMARC correctly set up. And then you need to warm up the email addresses for 3 weeks. So 3 weeks is a bare minimum. I'll let them run warm up forever, because then I can check if some of them are going into the spam folder. If this is going into the spam folder, I move the email address into a different pool that I use specifically for testing. So for my not premium data, and then I burn those email addresses. Then I
Okay.
just delete the domain and start over again. Then I add all the emails to QuickMails, etc. And then this is all the technical setup in QuickMail. We won't go into that, but basically this allows to remain to fly under the radar permanently.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right.
And the advantage of such a system is that you own it. You're not on rented land, so you can send as many emails as you want.
Yeah.
You could have 120 domains if you wanted to. The
Because
only
there's third party type software that kind of does similar to this, right? What do we use, Gav, for our, is it the lead, just the leads, smart lead.
Yeah,
You
it
heard of
does
that?
the same thing. It's just that I like QuickMail better
Yeah.
because it has some, like, for instance, since the new Google and Yahoo update regarding spamming,
Yeah.
the unsubscribe needs to be in the header.
Yeah.
So that does it. And in Smartly, at least from the last time I've used it, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And
So this
also
is like your
replace,
own thing. This is your own thing, and it's much cheaper, right?
it's approximately the same price.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's the same price. It's just that there are a few perks in QuickMail. There is also the pooling feature, like what they call the bucket, which I like a lot, because you
Yeah.
put all your leads into buckets and then they are drip fed into the campaigns.
Yeah.
So you don't need to recreate a campaign. They keep getting added. So I have automations that are pulling the data from Notions and then sending it into QuickMail. So it's it works well for me.
Cool.
I use a domain tracking sheet, which looks like this one. So this allows not to get lost.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, this is not very technical, but at least I know what has been done on the domain and what's the domain status. So can I send emails from this domain or not?
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's important. Okay, to go back to the slide, can you see that?
Yep.
So as I've mentioned previously, I acquire data from three main sources. So for my premium leads, I use Sales Navigator and a system called Prospeo. So I'll describe leads. So if I'll go into a Sales Navigator if you want.
Yeah. So when you say large B2B, that's the large clients, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here I'll obviously go for geography.
Yeah.
Then I'll choose the industry here. So let's say you want to go after renewable energy. Then here I'll exclude anything that's like consulting or anything that's not. So let's say consumer services or anything that's not really interesting. I'll go and search for the job titles. I'll exclude consultants and assistants and any job title that are not interesting. Then I'll just if I see that someone is not a good fit, I'll create Boolean operator. So I'll go and say like solar. I want solar and photovoltaic, but I don't want again. Sorry for consultants. It's just for the sake of the for the sake of the example.
Yeah.
So I'll set Boolean operator here, and then I'll select the head count. And so that is really, really important because based on the company's head count, you will structure the offer.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Right.
so like for instance, if you are going after um, a CEO of a company that has 5,000 employees and you offer a free trial or you give them the three first clients for free, they'll have a good laugh.
Yeah. Exactly. They're not
But
used to that. They'll just ignore you.
they'll just ignore you.
Yeah.
But if you do it for a company that has between 11 to 50 employees, they'll be really happy. It will be really special for them. So
Yeah.
I'll structure the campaigns and the CTA is also based on the number of employees.
Interesting. So you'll have different outreach messages per size of company almost and per industry.
Yes, well, I
Yeah.
changed the CTA mainly.
The
I don't
CTA.
change the hook because the hook is created by AI.
Yeah. Okay.
But I changed the CTA and the way the offer is positioned.
Nice.
And then once you have the list, you click here. So you need to make sure that there are less than 2,500 per export.
Yeah.
So here you just click on export leads, name the export, and this is gonna look for people. So here, if you I'll show you this one
So
here.
this Prospeo thing is like an extension that fits onto Sales Navigator and you can download the list from. Yeah.
Yes, so that's the easy way.
Okay.
I have another way where I use N8N.
Yeah.
So I scrape Google. I'll show you the workflow in a little bit later, but I scrape basically local businesses
Yeah.
using Google Places API. And then I have a request that places a search in Google. that's looking for people with specific titles for the specific company. And then this is pushing an HTTP request into Prospeo that pulls data if available.
Okay, cool.
So basically, if like for instance you are in the solar niche and the company has many agencies, you will identify those agencies and you will be able to find the business owner because you've already described the data from elsewhere.
Nice.
And this is I find that this is a bit more precise than just Sales Navigator.
Okay, cool.
So here you can expect, depends the niche you're going after. But for people working on computers, you will have approximately between 30 to 40% validity. If you're going for like solar roofers or anyone that's not working on a computer, you will be more towards the 20%.
Right. Okay. Clever stuff.
So I need to find the right screen and share it. So yeah, that's my process for acquiring a large B2B. Then I also have a lot of data scraping workflow, like I've mentioned previously. For instance, I'll show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, we'll give everyone the presentation. I think the resource doc and stuff like that will be held back as part of the offer at the end. But don't worry, it's going to be super affordable for you guys anyway. But yeah, we'll give you the presentation to look at. Anyway, continue on, mate.
Yeah. So basically, I have the database. I have it either on Google Sheet or on Notion, but I and better because it helps me to establish scenarios. So for instance, if I have prospect coming from Prospeo, I'll have a dedicated list. Here I'll have a list of people scribed and owners found, like I've mentioned previously. Here I'll have a list of owners scribed but not found, and then the mobile phone numbers. So here, if I have the mobile phone number, this allows me to launch a similar thing than the DBR. And the way proceed to get this data in there is using NA10 workflows.
So what is it? What are you getting N8N to do in a? You have to
A
explain it
lot.
to me. Yeah. So what is it?
Okay. So this is like so I have one workflow that does everything. So this
Okay.
one, which is complicated. So basically, this is pulling in a list of keywords and location. So then this is looking for the business owner. The business owner is found. So this is either checking. So if I connect it here, it will check that this is the right person. If this is the right person, it checks that this is and finds the business owner's email address and then customizes the email.
Okay.
So all this data is being populated inside the Notion database or the Google Sheet, whichever one you like.
So this is you use this to be able to scrape the internet and pull a database of emails from, right? This is just your.
Correct.
Is this your kind of your third bucket, your kind of weakest bucket, the least quality one?
No, the least quality one is done using Scrapebox.
Okay. This is
And
the middle one.
yeah, so that's the middle one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I have breaks, like for instance, if within my database I need to find business owners from company names, I'll just pull this one and then I'll populate my database with company names. And then if I need to scrape meta titles and descriptions, I have this one which will do that too. And so
Yeah.
the beauty of the system is that I'll show you inside the actual Notion table.
And the training you put together includes all of these N8N workflows?
Yeah, they include it includes the N8N workflows.
Everything's included that we're seeing here.
So basically here, this is going to create the hook. So in French, that's all in French, but the opening sentence is the hook. And so this hook is being created based on the data that I have in the AI summary. So this is using the meta description, this is using the company's profile, the person's profile. This
Yeah.
is creating an AI summary. Based on the AI summary, this is writing the email.
Right. Okay. So you're using N8N to scrape the internet, find the company profile, the name of the person, find the email address, and then actually put together a hand raiser email for it to be sent out by your infrastructure that we went through at the start.
100%.
100% right. Okay. So the spreadsheet that you're getting N8N to download is kind of pre-done with all of the company details and the email that needs to go out.
Then in order
Yeah.
to scrape data from Scrapebox, I do that. I'll show you a demo live.
So that's the second bucket. You use N8N for the
The
second
yeah
bucket.
the so that
Yeah.
this one was so the first one was the Sales Navigator. The
Yeah.
second one is the N8N that I've just shown you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the third one is using Scrapebox. So
Scrapebox. So that's a third-party tool, is it?
yeah, that's installed on a VPS.
Yeah.
So VPS is like a remote computer because I don't want to get my IP blacklisted.
Well, you've thought of everything.
Yeah, so I have this tool here. So it might be a bit slow because as this is obviously a VPS, sometimes it's a bit.
That's right. I guess we don't have to, unless you really want to. I guess we don't have. Just give us an
No,
overview of what's that.
was just for people to grasp the concept of what
Yeah.
Scrapebox really does. It's one of the most powerful tool out there if you can master it properly.
Wow.
So it's like having 100 or even 200 browsers going on the internet at the same time and pulling data such as keywords, meta descriptions, email addresses. Well, basically, you name it, you do whatever you want with that.
Wow.
It's
That's
just
cool.
that as this is pulling generic emails, obviously the quality and the response rate is not as good as with the previous two methods.
Yeah.
So that's how I test. So you go for Solar installers, and then you merge a list of keywords. So the keywords is just basically the list of cities. And then start harvesting using Google. So you need to use proxies for that.
So while you're doing that, people are asking kind of what's the cost of these tools. Well, we'll touch on that kind of later. The way we kind of measure it is the cost per coffee date, right? And I know Cedric's run Facebook ads to get coffee dates, and he's got a cost per coffee date, and he's also run all of this stuff to get a cost per coffee date. So we'll talk a bit about what those costs are and what the kind of potential earnings are per coffee date. And I don't think you'll be too worried about how much
Yeah, no, I
these tools
wouldn't
cost.
worry about that.
We'll talk about that in
Obviously,
a sec.
obviously, not too stingy in terms of money I use for the tools. Just because I get a better result on investment than what I would if I was just running ads. So here I'll trim, so I'll remove entries containing from a list. So I'll just do that quickly because I don't want to bore you with the technical stuff. It's all in a or grab emails per crawling sites. And then here I have in the settings I have a list of exclusion keywords. And then here you see I'm pulling email addresses from websites.
Wow.
Then I'll put those email addresses into a dedicated email verifier, same located on the VPS. And so basically I can use 5,000 emails per day there.
Wow.
So that's the process for scraping rather average data, the
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
And so you can test doing that.
Are you getting onto the bit about how to use AI to kind of like use AI to craft the message?
Yes, I used to I like to touch on the message first, or if
Yep, go for it.
yeah. So and then I'll show you how I do that using an I-10, and I will also show you the way I do it using the spreadsheet. But you will understand that the prompts make all the difference.
Yeah, okay.
So first of all, I use language that relates specifically to what people want to hear. For instance, in the subject line, I'll use anything that's relevant to them. In the solar niche, I go for more installation. Insurance, I go for more policies. Basically, I use AI also to come up with those.
Cool. Is that the subject line, did
Yeah,
you say?
that's the subject line.
Yeah.
And the way I customize my prompts is that I use pain points from what I hear from previous coffee dates. I use numbers, which I also add in the prompts. And then I try to get a grasp of their sales process, like do they use telemarketers, call centers, etc., and the expected outcome. Do they want more sales, more contracts, more installation? Well, basically anything that they would want to hear or read.
Cool.
Once I do that, I'll can you see the Google Doc here?
Yep.
So I just craft a prompt, and then I test it inside ChatGPT. And so this is all created based on what I've heard previously. So it's not one I use all the time. I modify it. Then I'll go into the spreadsheet, and this is the data that's coming straight out of Sales Navigator
Yeah.
and Prospeo. And I'll use an extension that's called ChatGPT for Sheets and Docs.
This is awesome.
So enable the functions. So if you don't have it available here, you need to go into the extension marketplace. So up until 2 weeks ago, this was free. It's not any longer, but it's not expensive. And then I'll pull the prompt and the formula that I've created here. So it's basically just a simple concatenate formula. And then here I'll make sure that all the functions are enabled. Otherwise, I'm gonna get an error here.
So basically what you're doing here is using the prompt to be able to create the outreach message and put it into a cell so your email infrastructure can pick it up and email
Yes,
from that column.
this is all prompt. So
That's
yeah,
yeah.
I'll just make sure that well, this is all explained in the training. I won't do it now because it's a bit technical, but basically you just need to drag and drop, and this is going to create all the messages. So error, why is that? I don't know why these are showing an error. But it usually works.
All right, don't worry about it for now. So
Yeah, anyway, you just need to copy and paste this, put it in there, and it just works. And if you don't want to use Google Sheet, I don't really like to use Google Sheet because it tends to break, especially when you're making multiple read and write scores. So I use an email customizer in an A10. So it's the same, it's exactly the same process. So basically, I have the Notion here.
I think someone was just asking that. Why don't you use N8N instead? And you
Why
do.
don't I use an A10? That's what I do. It's
Yeah,
and
you do.
also, yeah, that's giving me a lot more context because Notion also has this AI summary. It's,
Perfect.
so the quality of the output is much better using N8N and Notion than it is with Google Sheet. But I've started like that, and it worked, but not as well as what I do now with this. So
Okay, cool.
this is a pretty simple flow. Anyone can do that. It's not rocket science.
Cool. All right.
So now let's get into the core of the message. So we've seen all the boring technical stuff. So in the message, I always try to have something new, exciting, or different, something new to say. Like for instance, something that's working well is to say that since ChatGPT 4 or since GPT-4, we are seeing a huge difference, and companies are taking the lead using that. But when GPT-5 will come out, there will be a new angle to use. So it's got to sound like they are missing out on something, or
Yeah.
we haven't implemented it yet. What if the competitor has?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I use numbers and language, as I've mentioned. I use numbers from the past campaigns. I tackle objections. I'll try to tackle at least one objection in the opening email. So like, for instance, one that I've encountered often is people saying, yeah, but we already have an agency. And you get a reply like that. You don't even get to the coffee date if they tell you they
Yeah.
already have an agency. So in the email, I say this works alongside any lead generation effort you already have in place. This works if you already have an agency, or this is even more efficient if you have an agency. It depends. I see who I will send the message to, and then I craft it accordingly.
Yeah.
And then easy yes CTA. So you can send them a Loom video. You can say, "Can I've created a demo specifically for X for your company? Can I send a demo here?" That works. It's not working as well as saying, would your company be able to handle new contracts from all leads? That's working well.
Yeah.
So like almost a dumb question. They go
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course we can.
Yeah.
We didn't wait
It's
for
like,
you. Yeah,
yeah, it's the same as would you have you got any old leads that we can turn into sales
yeah, it's the same.
on a performance basis? You know, of course, it's a good CTA.
Yeah, and the performance basis, I use it as in the PS. I've tested in the core of the email, and I've tested it as a PS, and for me, it has worked better in the PS.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
And what also has worked well is not to use the 100% base, but to say, well, I will invest personally from my own pocket into your next campaign so that you can get your. So using the term invest on their
Yeah.
behalf
Yeah.
is working well.
Interesting. Interesting. Good
I
tips.
do. Here in France, we have a lot of lead gen agencies that have been working on 100% performance basis for years and years. So they've already read that before.
Interesting. Interesting. It's not so much over here.
Yeah, the pretty much everyone here is doing.
Performance basis.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Perhaps not the newer SMMA players, but all the lead gen agencies, they are doing performance based.
Right. Nice. How many, what size of the businesses have just, I know we'll just take a break and say, what size businesses have you kind of landing with this? What's your kind of sweet spot, right? Because yeah,
So that's an excellent question. I've been landing meetings with whale clients. I don't think this is the sweet spot. I don't want to be spending my weeks completing 128 question security questionnaires. I would go for between like 50 to 200 employees. This is where the business owner can still make the decision and they are not too much bothered about compliance.
yeah, yeah. 50
For
to
me,
100
this,
employees.
yeah, yeah, that would be the sweet spot.
Yeah, yeah, cool. And what kind
Then,
of what industries, like what niche, that's what people are going to be asking. Like, I know you're doing a broad variety of niches, right? I don't think you're as picky, right? Give us some
yeah,
examples of some of the clients that you've closed with this and the size of the businesses.
so solar businesses,
Yeah,
the insurance, life insurance, real estate since recently. And these are all major players in their field.
yeah. How'd you
So
get hold of how? So I'm intrigued, right? So the big real estate luxury real estate guys you had that you
yes,
just landed, who did the outreach message reach? And who did you speak to? Was it the marketing director or was the owner of the
no,
business,
I only go after the CEO
the CEO?
because if the message is good enough, it gets passed. And so you get the meeting with the marketing director or the sales director, but the person already knows that this subject is on the table.
And from the CEO.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So this
Actually,
CEO is
for
probably,
this guy let me down yesterday. I had the coffee date yesterday, and didn't turn up to the meeting. So I said, ah, no, come on, that's going to be a no-show, and it
yeah,
was. And he sent me a message later on during the day. Say, sorry, a meeting has overrun. Meeting in the US has run much longer than expected. Can we schedule for tomorrow? And I said yes. He didn't reply, so I assumed this was a miss. And then my phone rang well, half an hour before before the before this webinar, and that was
yeah.
him. So I got on
How
the
was
call
it?
right away.
Wow. So that's a CEO of like what? A nine-figure business, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say nine figure, but they are everyone knows the name. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. Yeah, they are.
That's crazy,
And
man. That's crazy.
and
From completely cold.
they are in the luxury real estate. You go on their
Wow.
website, there is nothing under 2 million.
And you've got them from your little, you're getting them from your little study in on Antibes without knowing
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I love it.
yeah.
Right.
So
Sorry.
yeah, it just works. And you see, this guy brought along his marketing director to the meeting this afternoon.
Yeah.
So if they feel like this is a burning subject, they'll pass the message along.
Yeah. Definitely.
And for the big life insurance company, the one you've mentioned before, I've outreached to the CEO, well, the branch director, which I didn't know he was, and then this got back into the chain and got all the way up to the actual company's CEO.
Wow. And just, I know you might have a little bit to go, but tell me about the deal that you brokered with this big life insurance company and tell me how that works.
So first, I didn't know how to price it because you can't go to this company, these kind of companies, and say, well, we'll take a cut. They will not
Won't do it.
they won't do it. So it's either by reactivated lead, by appointment at your position, but I find that it might be difficult to track, or per conversation, which is the closest to what we have. So I charge them a set fee plus a price per conversation.
The conversation is any SMS
Yeah,
that's sent,
anytime it pings.
any times it pings, you get paid.
Yes.
And how
So,
often do they want you to do that?
so that's €2, and they handle between 8 to 12,000 leads per month.
Wow. Wow.
So it's not a bad deal.
That's not a bad deal at all. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, because perhaps they'll tell me, yeah, this conversation wasn't right. You need to, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a leeway.
Well, you might be surprised about how well the conversations work. We're seeing like a 30% response rate and a 10% appointment booked rate on average, right? So they're going to be absolutely ecstatic with that, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And funny enough, they don't have they are not performing really well on social media ads.
Mm,
So they are seeking for advice, and they want speed to lead, to be acting as an advisor.
yeah.
They had like 1,000. No, I can't say it. Well,
Can't say it. Can't
no,
say
I
it.
can't say. I can't say it.
Awesome,
But
man. All right.
yeah, I won't say it. But they were paying their leads a lot,
A lot.
like a lot.
Wow. Wow.
So
All
this,
right. Where are we? Where are we here?
so I've shown you the way to personalize emails at scale. And while you were mentioning niches, I'd just like to mention the fact that the niches don't matter so much. Well, in fact, they matter because you want to be able to target the messaging towards people you're actually willing to talk to. However, since you are using the AI summary and you are using all the data that you got previously, the messages are so customized that you can end up having a coffee date by mistake with someone you wouldn't expect, like I had with one of the leading e-commerce site. They basically, what they do is they are delivering medications. And so they closed a big round of funding. They have a lot of employees. So it's a startup, but I wasn't intending to touch them.
An
Uh,
e-commerce company.
yeah, and I did.
Yeah. You closed them?
No, no, I didn't close them. I don't
You didn't
really,
want them.
no, I don't really want to deal with e-com.
Okay.
It's not.
Awesome.
But the thing is that there is a lot to do there as well, because they have burning subjects like for abandoned carts, like
Exactly. Exactly.
follow-ups, like
Exactly.
so. This
E-commerce is
one is
going
a
to,
bit, yeah. This one is a bit sensitive because it's medically related. It's health related. So, it wouldn't look well to send an email saying, "Hey, I see that you have Alzheimer's. We have medications for that."
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to be careful. So John's
Yes.
asked you using Zappy Chat to platform to run bots. Now we just use high level. Like if you have a look on our YouTube channel, John, we don't charge anything for what we do. It's all part of the high level program. So as long as you got high level, then you can do everything that Cedric is doing for the client delivery, just with high level and the training that we provide around that. We don't have any kind of ongoing fee or anything along those lines, if that makes sense. All right, crack on, mate.
Yeah. So the personalizing email at scale. So I've shown you the GPT integration with Google Sheets and Docs, and I've also shown you the workflow using an i10. You can do it using Zapier or Make. It works exactly the same way. I use an i10 because I have a lot of workflows running at the same time, and sometimes the limitations are well, wouldn't allow me to do what I want to do using the two other services. So here is the message I use. Well, an example of a message I use. So here you can see that well, basically those are all placeholders. I'll show you what an actual message looks like. I don't recommend that you should copy it because it's not going to work for a very long time if you do.
Yeah.
But this uses Pintax because it gets better deliverability, and the message is customized each time for by new prospect. And here is the PS I've noticed to work the best for me is service is 100% performance based. We invest, and as I've mentioned, I find that the term invest makes a difference.
Mm.
Time, expertise, resources, tools, so that your campaigns are guaranteed to succeed, assured of success, all with no upfront cost initially. So the actual PS is even more important than the rest of the message.
Yeah. That would convert like crazy.
So this is what the actual message looks like. I've noticed a key issue in the insurance sector, up to 50%. And well, this one is made up, but usually I have the real figure.
Yeah.
And in the insurance sector, it's much higher than 50% of leads get lost, impacting revenue. Is this happening at? But I changed as I've mentioned before, I changed the message based on what's happening in the industry at the time. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, in France, where at the moment there are quite a lot of house builders or promoters that are going under. So this morning I scraped a list of all of them. And so my message, which will be going out, is you've been spending a lot of money on leads for the last few months, last few years, but the market is changing. What do you think if we could transform the money that you have already spent on those
Yeah.
leads into new stream of profit? Because
Clever.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They haven't got the money anymore to spend on leads, so why not get free leads from the
yeah.
database they've already got?
And
Sales. Yeah.
for startups, exactly the same way I've mentioned the startup in the medical space, the message going out is um, I've been talking to a lot of startups in the insurtech space or whatever space this is. And I've noticed that everyone is struggling to close the new round of funding. What if you could demonstrate better metrics by converting the leads you already have?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is just tweaking the message based on basically the momentum based on what's happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going back to the new, exciting and different. There is
Yeah.
always something new.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do it for e-commerce, right, I noticed in the selling, um, I noticed in the, whatever it is, like luxury candle industry, that up to 50% of customers that are looking to buy a candle drop off before they and abandon the cart. Would you be interested in us pulling sales from all of those abandoned carts? That would just, it's a no-brainer offer and it would get
Yeah,
their attention right away, right?
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I've had a guy though telling me, "Oh yeah, that sounds a little bit too." I've had a guy, actually an actual prospect, giving me a feedback on the email saying, "This sounds too good to be true,"
Mm, mm.
which is kind of yes, but if you replied, I've reached
It
my
worked.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
reached my goal.
Yeah. Remember that. Remember
The
that
guy
we don't
said,
need.
"Yeah, I was on the
Yeah.
delete button," but then I said, yeah, yeah, I'll answer because this sounds interesting." So goal reached.
Yeah. Thing is that we don't need to, like, we don't need to, because I'm terrible at selling face to face. You know what I mean? Like I'll stumble on my words and do all this stuff, right? And I'll just blow it. I'll start talking too much. I want them to like me. All of these stuff that a lot of people struggle with, right? But what we do is we demo how it's going to work, and the demo sells itself. We don't need to have any sales chops whatsoever, which makes this offer so special.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's
there is
fun
no
selling
messing
this.
around.
No.
The The only thing I found though is that when running coffee dates with wired clients, you need to be really prepared. So
Mm,
I have
mm,
presentations, and for the demo, I use the OpenAI assistant. Well, just like there is in the training.
yeah,
But then I connect it to WordPress and I put it on a landing page so that they
yeah,
can test it out after, because they need
themselves.
something that they can share among themselves, among the sales team,
Mm,
marketing team. And in there, the prompt is customized to say, I'm a demo, I've been
yeah,
trained to reply this way, but I haven't been trained with your data. So I
mm,
set an expectation that gives me enough leeway to go back and say, oh yeah, no, we've adjusted the bot with your data, and you can test it again.
yeah, yeah. That's clever, really clever. I usually bring Jamie on my bigger client
Yeah,
coffee dates
I don't
because
have a Jamie,
other,
so
otherwise I'll just completely fluff it. But anyway, all right, we keep going, mate. This is great stuff.
And so the effective I think we'll almost reach an end here. Yeah.
Yeah,
The testing strategy. So I test headlines, I test opening hooks, I test CTAs, and I test PSs. But I only test one variation at a time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, in in my campaign, it's not rare that I have 10, 12, 15, 16 different variations of emails
Uh,
for the single opening email, which is, in my opinion, the most important one.
yeah.
Because
How many emails do you send?
I send 4 emails maximum
Okay.
every 3 days.
Yep. Yep.
And that's it. I don't send any more than that. Then I recycle the leads and I start a new campaign like a month or 45 days after. So
Yep.
in my campaigns, there isn't a breakup email
Yep.
because I
Okay.
want to keep the loop open until they tell me to fuck off. And that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. That happens too. Put out
Yeah.
thick skin. Hey,
Yeah, you need to be prepared.
four total, 3 months, 3 days apart, Damien.
Yeah, it's 3 days apart.
Cool.
I saw someone here in the chat asking about the signature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't put any links inside my emails. Just there is only one link which is leading to my LinkedIn profile, which
Yeah.
is I have several LinkedIn profiles and they are all optimized. They are all sales pages and they are all optimized towards the offer that's contained inside the email.
You are a clever man. You are a clever
So
man. Oh my God. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Crazy stuff. Um, all right. Um, let's go into the Q&A on my screen. If you let me
yeah,
do that.
I'll stop the screen sharing here.
All right. So before we do that, Nat, we've got our offer, right? Like Cedric's offer. Do you mind just dropping that in the chat?
Yeah, sure thing.
So while we're doing the Q&A, we're going to drop the offer link and all of the training that we've just been through. You guys can click on that link. I'm just going to open that up so everyone can see it. There's probably going to be lots of people. Yeah, this is a good offer. Hopefully, it's very cheap. What we're doing, what we're giving away here is like incredible value. But as I said, when I start trying to sell, I get all bumbly and over talk. So I'm just going to let my copy do the selling, and let's talk to you guys about questions that you've had or have, and I'll do my best to answer them if they're any kind of offer based offer one, or we'll move over to Cedric if you guys have got other questions. So um, so Steve said you're using AI to craft the original email, but does AI play any part in dealing with the responses, or do you manage all of the responses manually
No, I do that by hand.
by hand? I would do that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
cool.
That's there are hard to get, so you don't want to mess it up with.
No, big companies, right? You don't want to try and
Yeah,
optimize. You don't want to try and automate that. Did you
no,
say the
no,
link? Did you say the LinkedIn is dynamic to the offer he is giving? So I don't think it's dynamic. Is it you just have a different LinkedIn within the email for that particular niche or whatever, right?
correct. Yes,
Yeah,
just like you
yeah,
would for a landing page.
yeah. That makes sense. When you're outreach, do you use your own name or company name or something else?
No, I use my own name.
Your own name. Yeah, I would do that too.
Yeah, because you need to set the tone of the next call. Said, yeah, I've had contact with Mary. Is she here today? No.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
so
How do you have multiple LinkedIn profiles? I'm sure it's probably against the
yeah, I
terms
have
of service,
multiple
right? But
LinkedIn profiles.
yeah, do what you got to do to make it work. Same question as Matt Cedric. How do you go about creating multiple LinkedIn profiles? Yeah,
How do
just tell us a
you,
bit more about that, right? I'm sure it's against a bit of a gray area, but tell us how that works.
well, it's simple. You use a different email address each time.
Yeah,
That's
easy.
and you just make sure that the LinkedIn profile that it says clearly what you do and it's the same in the email.
Yeah,
Like we do database reactivation, so you find a way to make it stand in the profile itself.
yeah, exactly. All right. Can we use cold email in the same way to send prospects to the bot? I have a manufacturer with 10,000 leads database and I want to reactivate them with cold email as we don't have the mobile numbers. Can we use cold email in the same way to send prospects to the bot? Do you
Mm,
understand that? I have a manufacturer with 10,000.
Can you do cold email?
Oh, so you're talking, Michelle's talking about she's got a client that's got 10,000 dead leads and she wants to do it via cold email rather than SMS. Yes, you can do that, Michelle. That's just part of, like, if you go to the 5-day challenge or if you're inside Roya, it's just the same as SMS, but it's exactly the same just for email. So yes, you can 100% do it. Jay, perhaps LinkedIn pages, one LinkedIn, yeah, otherwise, okay. Is Cedric using N8N integrated with ChatGPT to deliver the service, or is he staying with Zapier and ChatGPT on the delivery
No,
side?
no, I'm using Zapier to deliver the service.
Yeah,
I use N8N for anything that has long processes.
yeah, interesting. All right, this is a good question. So Damien's asked, what's the cost of the third-party software? And I'd like to hear from you, Cedric, what your experience was running Facebook ads and your cost per coffee date, and what's it like, and the quality running cold email automation with your cost per coffee date when you take into account the cost of the
So running ads, I had leads for €2.20 each.
two
And
euros 20 running ads
yeah,
using the training.
€3 is €3.20 each.
Yeah,
And I was able to get on a call with approximately 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 coffee
So
dates.
€32 a coffee date.
Yep,
But they were not always as qualified as I want them to. Often they would be curious. They would see how it works, or they would just waste your time because they don't have enough leads.
yep,
I'm not saying they're all bad, but with cold emailing, I pick who gets into my pipeline.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So what about with cold email and all that?
And cold email, accounting all the tools and all that, it's like €18 per coffee date. I spend approximately €400 on tools, €450 on tools.
450 euros per month on tools.
Yeah, so I'll break it down. So N8N, I spend €40 on it. I have the self-hosted platform, but I
Yep,
pay for the server. Quick mail, I spent $97 per month.
yep,
I pay €197 for, so dollars, this is for Prospeo,
yep,
64 for Sales Navigator, 30 for the VPS.
yep. So it's roughly 450 a month.
Yeah, and for the for scraping Google and scraping Google Places, I pay $25 per 10,000 requests, and I
Nice,
make approximately 30,000 requests.
nice.
And that's all I spend. I mean, I've been,
No ads, no nothing.
no.
Cool. All right. I was
So
saying,
it
Steve.
has, obviously, it has a cost, but it's nowhere near what the costs that you get when you are running ads.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Michelle, thanks. Thanks, Ollie. Why use N8N and AP? Why not all on N8N?
Because the N810, there you go, as we so sorry, I'm not sharing my screen because I just had coffee that is popping. Yeah, why? Because I find that the N8N chat feature is not stable.
Yeah,
So there is a bit of a lag. So it works perfectly well when you are using the OpenAI, the normal OpenAI. So to summarize data or to create new messages, that's perfect. But when it needs to bounce back between incoming messages and outgoing messages, it doesn't do a great job yet.
yeah, yeah. It's all coming. Were you able
Yeah.
to deliver the Android and WhatsApp? We're moving a little bit away from like um the whole process, Paul. We're talking about the cold outreach. You're talking about the delivery. Yeah, and the Android can do WhatsApp. What is the hosting service you use for your domains? I think we've been through this. Um,
Yeah, I can answer this one. For French
yeah,
market, I have I have hosting providers on hosting plans on O2 Switch, and for other markets, I have SiteGround, and
nice,
I pick the data center based on where the email is going to go.
cool.
That makes a difference.
Can you share any examples of conversion rate you get from reactivating old leads? So, Steve, these are all questions that are related to the client delivery. This is more based on, we can talk about that maybe later, but this is all based on the client getting. Should we wait 3 weeks to warm up emails, or can we send some emails in the meantime too?
So yeah, I'm reading the questions as well.
I think you probably wait for the 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Fixed
even
cost.
so, sometimes it's not enough.
Yeah.
But I let them run, as I've said, so mail flow is free. That's part of yeah, that's one thing I haven't mentioned. But the reason why I went for quick mail and mail flow is because it's not integrated into one platform like Smart Lead. And at some point, Google and Yahoo, they had a crackdown at service
Yeah.
providers that were actually doing a warm up too.
Yeah.
So I like to have it separated and it's free.
Makes sense. What's a reasonable expectation on terms of how long does it take to set everything up? Is this something you'd trust a VA to do? Once set up, how much time does it take to operate per day? And is that something a VA could manage? That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, you can give that to a VA, but there are quite a lot of things. To be honest, there are quite a lot of things that can go wrong with the setup. Like for instance, if the person doesn't change the tracking link, that's not an issue. But if the person doesn't change the redirection, that's a huge issue. You're gonna end up with 404s or things that are not working, or people they click on it and they'd say, yeah, your link doesn't work. That doesn't look serious, or you want to. Not saying they can't do it, just saying it's.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you got to keep an eye on it yourself. So how
Yeah.
much time, once it's kind of up and running and all built, how much time a day do you spend on your cold outreach?
So I spend a day every week just for sourcing data.
4 hours per week.
No, I spend a whole day. I typically do that on a Monday.
Yeah.
So that's for sourcing data. Then I customize the messages throughout the night.
Yeah.
So I launched the nighttime automation the next morning. So on Tuesday, I'm ready to add them into QuickMail. Then I'll check and I'll spend approximately an hour a day just going around checking, making sure that everything is working properly and adjusting messages. So
Nice.
adjusting messages is just turning off those that are not performing well and just keep doing what's working.
Nice. Starting from scratch, how long would it take to build the infrastructure for the cold emailing?
I would say that if you are focused, if you don't do anything else, within like 5, 6 hours, it would be done.
Wow, just following your training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 5 or 6 hours it
No,
takes to build
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. I can read Travis's question.
Can I just buy age Gmails instead?
No, 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 no. Yeah, you want to have the control over those things.
Yeah. Yeah, and you want to have them in your domain as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And if we get stuck, what kind of support is available to help troubleshoot? So you're asking if you join us, Paul, then we have our if you buy the offer, then you can go to not this school, but the other one. This one here. So the AAA automation ninjas like Cedric will be in here and we'll be able to help you and all that type of stuff as well. Okay. So that if you haven't joined that, please do. What other questions we got? If you already have a good amount of targeted and verified email addresses for decision makers, do you suggest to directly go for if you already have a good amount of targeted verified email, do you suggest directly to go for the decision makers or do you prefer to use broad targets first?
Or if you already trust the list and if you know what to tell them, you can send them your main email right
Yeah,
away.
nice. What is the cost for Aurora and where is the link to get it? Well, Roya's invite only at the moment. So if you are interested, Spot, then give me an email, Dan Wardrope at flexdigital.com. We're kind of very selective about who we bring in because we want to make sure that we can get them results and they're the right type of people. So if you are, please email me there and we can have a chat. Okay. Any other questions? The price pressure, like, let's go back down here. The price is down here, right? So I think it's $297, isn't it? Yeah, $297. If that won't show up if the VAT element's only in the UK or Europe. Okay, where else are we? Chats. Not directly related. What are the options to have AI set up similar to this for a website chat? So that can all be done, RJ, like using, I think my level has like a web chat, AI web chat feature. So it's the same, it's just free if you've got high level. Please send a pay link, Fraser. It's just here, like I'll put it here. All right. What else is there? Any other questions, people? Here we go, Michaels. I've worked with many auto dealerships and some of them have been sued for millions of dollars for texting people who don't have express consent from them. For DBR Roy and Jen, has this been a concern for your prospects? Does your contract protect you in case of a lawsuit? So we put that on them, Michael. So if they're the type of person that doesn't want to SMS their opted-in data. And we have to do a lot of convincing for that to happen. And then they're not the type of people we want to work with. We don't get involved with advising them or anything like that. Usually the type of clients we want to work with know the risks, know whether they've got the right consent, and they're just like, yep, let's go 100% of the time. If they're going, well, can you prove this? Can you prove that? Then we just walk away. There's plenty more fish in the ocean. And it's not about us protecting ourselves against that, because I don't want anything to do with compliance. It's all under their umbrella from their own, opted-in data. So that's the way we handle it. Yeah, so does the link contain the NAN workflows? We'll have access to all the workflows shown in this presentation. I believe it does.
Yeah, you get to see how they are built as well, so it's even better.
Yeah. What type of training is it? It's videos and resource docs. I'll have a quick look. I'll see if I can log in. I don't know if I'm still logged in. There it is. So this is in the back end. You get the introduction, N8N, creating your contacts, customizing your emails and scraping. Well, there's a whole section on scraping data, ways to customize your emails, things you must avoid to stay out of the spam trap, things what you do, setting up and then we've got 2 bonus things as well. The 0 ad spend way to get coffee dates, getting conversation started. So this is all me in the way that we do it. All that stuff. Then we've got the 31K per hour method, which we used for warm outreach. We've got our Instagram hack as well. So there's, a whole host of good training here. All right. You guys set up this email system for us and we pay an extra 19%. Sydney, I think you must be joking, Sydney. Yeah, we would not do that. All right, how long would it take to set up? Kathy, it's, I think he said 5 to 6 hours. Got to run things down. I'm in Roy, and so that's sweet. All right. Is there any other questions? Then we'll probably call it a day. It's getting late here in the UK. Cedric's probably got more copy dates. Knowing him.
Hopefully not tonight. That would be without notice. That's not prepared.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll leave it there. Cedric, thanks so much for this, mate. We really appreciate it. You're a superstar. We'll speak to everyone later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya. Thank you so much for sticking around. There is a link below to the Google Doc, which explains about the Napoleon outreach method and how it's going to transform your cold outreach, especially if you're using it to get database reactivation clients with AI. So please do get stuck in. There's also a link to our 5-day challenge below. If you haven't started looking at using an AI bot to reactivate databases and share the profits from the leads that have been closed from that reactivation, then there's a link to our 5-day challenge, which will show you exactly how you can do that and how you can get started today. Speak to you soon. Take care.